Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the first installment of CATIA University. We're so excited to have you here. My name is Susan Crowden, and I'm with Vias Corp. I have with me today also Glenn Larson with Vias Corp, Danny Alcini, and Chuck Giratana from Dassault Systems. Our topic for today, for class number 1, is Advanced Surfacing and Sheet Metal Design. Next slide. Next slide. But first, the good stuff. I don't want to let you think that I'm starting at the end, but I'm starting at the end with just a small little bribe. Anyway, we're expecting all of you to graduate with flying colors. And to graduate, you need to attend all 7 classes. The classes will run from July 14th through April 6th of 2022. They're going to be coming about every 6 weeks. But the good news is, for anyone who stays until the end of this class or any class, you'll be entered to win a $50 Visa gift card, and you must be present to win. So that $50 gift card goes to one lucky winner each class we hold, each of the 7 classes that we hold. For anyone who participates in all 7 classes, you will be entered to win a drawing. You will be entered in a drawing to win either a Space Mouse or an iPad, your choice, and there can be 5 lucky winners, so please don't get discouraged. Again, who are we at Vias 3D? So Vias 3D is a Dassault Systems Platinum partner. That means we're at the top of the food chain as far as our ability to deliver goods and services to our customer base. We're also a Dassault Systems education partner. We have industry experience in a wide variety of markets, including oil and gas, petrochemical, nuclear, aerospace, med device, industrial equipments, transportation and mobility, etc. We have a team now of over 100 employees, many of whom have PhDs and other more advanced designations that concentrate in design, manufacturing, structural mechanics, electromagnetics, fluid mechanics, etc. We provide engineering and PLM consultancy. We do training, software sales and support, automation and customization. And we have a presence in the US, Canada, Mexico, India, and we just recently opened an office in Turkey. Next slide, please. Who is Dassault Systems? For any of you who are on the call who are not familiar with Dassault Systems, they are the OEM, original equipment manufacturer, or author of the software known as CATIA, the software known as SolidWorks, the software known as Delmia, etc. They are the world's leading developer of CAD, CAM, and CAE software products. They have more than 120 interrelated software products, so as you might imagine, that can get pretty complex. They serve 11 different industries, so they have a very wide base. Their genesis came from the aerospace industry, but they're very big in transportation, marine and offshore, high tech, consumer packaged goods, etc. They enable the implementation of design, analysis, and manufacturing and post-production support systems. When I first joined working with Dassault Systems, although I work for Vias, I'm a reseller of Dassault Systems solutions, they had like 13,000 employees. They now have 22,000 employees, 12,600 worldwide partners, 290,000 plus enterprise customers, and they're about $4.5 billion each year in sales, which is about, in euros, excuse me, which is about $5.4 billion in USD. Next slide, please. Our value at Vias 3D is to help you provide, through the application of digital technology, enabling manufacturing and engineering organizations to become better through connected collaboration, process discipline, and digital product experience. And the digital product experience comes through transformation using the 3D Experience technology platform. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the technology platform, but it has a variety of solutions that it provides above and beyond just the apps. just the common apps that you'd be familiar with, such as 3D modeling, etc. So it has social and collaborative apps to connect users and business users with social and collaboration. So you're able to understand what your community is doing, understand what the external community is doing, etc. We have 3D modeling apps, and we have, whoa, guess I'm done. Oh, we have all kinds of different modeling apps. We have simulation apps, information intelligence apps, and it's all brought together on this 3D experience technology platform in real time. Next slide. So with that, I'd like to introduce Glenn Larson and Danny Alcini. Glenn Larson is actually going to be carrying the presentation through the technical aspects for advanced surfacing and sheet metal design. Thanks, Glenn, and welcome.
Thank you, Susan, and thank you for all that information. So today we're going to talk about advanced surfacing and sheet metal design. And before I do, I kind of wanted to introduce you to the 3D Experience platform. So the 3D Experience platform, what is it? It's not just a modeling software or PLM solution. It has a unified product structure. And the unified product structure allows you to work with many, many different types of applications. Everything from Anovia to Simulia and throughout. So when we talk about the 3D Experience platform, it's kind of a little bit different than standard CATIA, where you have workbenches. Here, we're a little bit roles-based, and you can see we have some different roles here. We have industrial designer, we have marketing experience, and we have mechanical engineer. If you look at the mechanical engineer I opened up, you can see that not only does it have CATIA applications in it, but it has Anovia, CATIA shape design, kinematics, and knowledgeware. And if you look at the kinematics, it's a little different. We have mechanical systems design now, which is, we show you a little bit in the sheet metal workbench. It's so much easier to use for you to look at your products in state. And then even the mechanical engineer can do a static study with Simulia. So it's really a lot more flexible when we start to talk about roles-based. What we're going to talk about, what I'm going to show you a little video here, is basically using a software that's not the 3D Experience or not CATIA, but you could use CATIA. Some people use Inventor, some people use SolidWorks, or you might use NX. Well, if you do, you can still use the 3D Experience platform. I'm going to show you a quick video on how that's done. If we look here, we've got a part that we've designed in SolidWorks, and it's just a simple gear, and it's been saved already locally. So we're going to save it to the platform. And when we do, we have some options. I did save with options. So if you look, you can do a new revision. But the other thing is convert, and you're not actually converting your copy. You're keeping the SolidWorks file. What it's going to do is it's going to make a copy. And we'll go over to the platform and take a look at that. And we'll see that we have two parts that it loaded. It loaded the SolidWorks part, which can only be viewed and edited in SolidWorks. So it's locked in. And then we have a part that's a default part, what we call an exact geometry part. So when we look at it, you'll see it's actually BREF solid, and it's not editable in here, but you can use it in here. So in other words, you can put it in an assembly, you can put it in a CATIA assembly, you can put it in an NX assembly. You can do anything you want with it as far as the platform goes. You can simulate it, you know, use any kind of an application that you might use, you can use on that part, except for editing it. To do that, you have to go back to SolidWorks. We'll open it up and see what it looks like. And right here, you can see that it has a little red negative on it, which means this is you know, it's like having a publication, as it were. You want to edit it, and you go back to SolidWorks. and reserve it. And it's as simple as that. That's how you can use the 3D Experience platform with other softwares that you might be using. So we'll go to the next slide, and we're going to talk a little bit about CATIA surfacing. We should be lucky enough today to have Danny with us. Are you there, Danny?
Hi, everyone. Happy to be here, Glenn.
Thank you. I'm gonna explain what we're doing, and I'm gonna start the video, and maybe you can give us some more information about the surfacing.
Absolutely.
Because we have some of the best surfacing. I guess you guys might be familiar with Alias or some other surfacing tools using ICEM technology, but the CATIA has more than just surfacing that you can do with it. So I made this little slide here just to show some of my favorites. If you talk about converting ICEM surface, what that does is once you've created the surface, it converts it back so you can create a solid model. And basically, I've got two little applications here, or two little widgets that do some things I kind of thought were interesting. Creating a gap and how easy that is to do. When you create the gap, it crimps the surface, just like if you were really making the part. So you can kind of see how it's supposed to, parts fit together. And then you can blend surfaces. Gonna go to the next, and I'm gonna start the video and put this on. And I'm gonna let Danny talk a little bit about how this works.
Sure. So, in CATIA advanced surfacing, and the particular product we're looking at is ISOM shape design. In the world of advanced surfacing, there are really two capabilities that are key for the most powerful surfacing capabilities. Now, one is the type of data model, and there is a type of surface data model called NURBS surface. CATIA is not the only product that offers NURBS editing, and what you get with a NURBS data model is the ability to very precisely control your surface. There are other products on the market where you can edit control points and do that, and we can certainly do that in CATIA ISOM. However, there is a major differentiator. In CATIA, CATIA ISOM shape design is the only product that marries the defined control of NURBS control point editing and NURBS data model with parametrics. So there are other NURBS products on the market, and there are other parametric products on the market. But CATIA ISOM shape design is the only product that gives you both the precise control of NURBS data model editing with the high productivity of parametrics in your model. And for those of you that are wondering what exactly does parametrics give me, that gives you the ability to model your part with history. Okay, so you can take advantage of the precise control that you have for advanced surfacing by leveraging NURBS data. And then when you're done with your part, if some of your inputs change, you can go ahead and update your model. Now, what we're seeing in the video are some other values that it brings. We have some very high-level functions that are tailored for whatever industry you're in. In this case, we're looking at automotive. We've got some, draft analysis functions, a lot of very high-level functions to save you time and give you more productivity. Right here in the video, we're going to see a demonstration of the history modeling or the parametric update. So the user is modifying a very core input, which would be the location of this fog lamp hole, and he just moves it over and updates his model, and it's done. Now, again, there are other solutions that can do this, but they cannot do this with NURBS surface. And NURBS surface is what gives you the ability to create really, really highly refined, beautiful surfaces that reflect light perfectly. And it also, it comes in a modeler here that has very powerful functions to increase your productivity. Here you can see they've now changed the input entirely from one shape to another optional shape, changing the shape of the fog lamp. The user performs an update, and really in real time, it probably takes about 5 seconds in that case. So that's just a quick high-level overview of some of the differentiating values that you get with the advanced surfacing capabilities in CATIA.
Thank you, Danny. That was a good explanation. And to touch on two of the points when we were talking about the ability to parameterize it, and also the type of surface that it creates. Many times in the industry, we have difficulty you know, with mold flow simulation and with other types of applications from the models, but the surfacing that you get. Surfacing is really bad, disconnected holes, things like that. So the surfacing out of here works so well with meshing and also parameterizing it. So if you were to say, do a design experiment, you know, if they were doing a crumple test or something else like that on this, that's where the parameters really come in handy. And so you can do like a design loop and everything's going to stay attached and together. And that's the whole benefit of doing it. And it's pretty easy to convert it to a regular surface. Yeah, depending on your complexity, of course, but you know, it gives you all the data comes out of here to give you your base of what you need to do it. So that's some of our advanced surfacing. We have a lot more. We have morphing and things like that, and we can go into some other segments. But now we'll move to the next thing that we were going to talk about was sheet metal. And the sheet metal, I'm going to show you a video. It's going to be a little bit more than sheet metal. What we're talking about here is how we can design in context. In other words, you know, design in state, where you're building your products right on the assemblies and making things work dynamically. And the sheet metal apps that we have in CATIA today are so intuitive. The other thing we're going to show you is how we use the contextual menus, which I'll show you what they are. We're going to go through a workflow of how this is done. And in the end, what you can get manufacturing wise in your manufacturing steps, manufacturing aids, planning, fastening, all of those issues that come up in your manufacturing and design. If you can look, you can see that we're showing some of the contextual menus here that, and you'll see this in the video, when you just choose on any object, surface, point, line, everything that you're allowed to do with that is going to come up in a window. And so we're going to show you this done without even looking at the tree. If you can see that you get a lot of manufacturing data from this, especially if you know you're doing sheet metal and you're stamping and bending and forming, you can look at the steps involved. And then we're going to look at the ability to control the fasteners with the fastening app that we have. The fastening app is really good because you can make mass changes, you can get bills of materials, and there's a lot you can do with it. You can connect the fasteners to the holes and connect catalogs to both. You've always been able to do that in KnowledgeWare and CATIA, but I think we've tied it together a lot better than it used to be. It's a lot easier now. And we're also going to see a little bit of welding and fastening. And this video will even do a simulation of the product after it's been created. So if you can look, we have some kinematics in there. In CATIA, you know, the ways that we can make connections and constraints allow for easy kinematics today. And without further, we will play the video. So what we're going to look at is making one of those arms. And you can see what it does. It's there to grab a tire and lift. So there's definitely some things to take into account when designing. So if you can see that right here, we're designing in state and there's no tree. We're not looking at the tree. We're not, you know, searching through and looking for things. You're literally in sheet metal design, grabbing and pulling. Now you can stop if you see the scale there, and I'm going to pause the video real quick. If you see this scale here, you can, once that scale comes up, you can click on it and enter a number in. They don't show you that here, but it makes it real easy to do. And what's going to happen is once you put a radius on a corner, it's going to go back to that radius just like it does in CATIA with defaults. You can just draw a line and it becomes part of the part. Flange up, you can see when you pick on an edge, it gives you the flange right away. And then, oh, I'm sorry. Let's go back to that. Apologize. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I wanted to kind of show that you can basically maneuver everything without ever going off of your mouse hand. This really frees you up to do a lot of productivity. You see how fast it is to build the flanges. And of course, there are interferences. Shows you where the interferences is, and you can just go and take that material right out, unfold it.
Glenn, this is Danny. I just want to make a comment. This is really a great example of the direction that we're moving with the more modern interfaces. We want the user to be freed up to just be more productive. So no longer is there a need to continually interact with a bunch of menus popping up on your screen. We have automated a lot of these activities. So you'll notice in the workflow, there's a lot that CATIA is doing in the background. There's some predictiveness in the flow of the user interface. And this all factors into the overall productivity that the user enjoys.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, I think, because that's exactly right. I mean, and the time savings, there's ROI on that. And you know, not only that, the modification of it becomes much easier, right? Just like when you
absolutely.
Yeah, it makes it a lot better. So here they're showing you each state that you have to change to make this part. So if it was going down a progressive stamp or die, what you would do. Now we go into the fastener roll. And you can see that the holes were so easy to put in. They were probably cataloged because you can do that. And so once you have holes, again, I guess predictiveness would be the word. You know the hole size and what type of hole it is. It can predict what kind of fastener you need, and that comes up. It's got to be in your catalog. You got to have a catalog with them, but again, that's easy to do too. That's been made just as intuitive, building catalogs.
Absolutely. So, you know, the capabilities here are the fact that attributes will come with or can come with the cataloged holes, which allow for the insertion of the fasteners later. Again, with very little effort on part of the user.
And you see this picture here could be created to show somebody where all the fasteners are going to go, or for a repair manual. So now they got to weld it. So kind of seamless. You just click in the welding app. You don't have to go out of anything. You don't have to open and close anything. And welding has become more intuitive too. You used to have to put a lot of data in. So now we can test our product right away because you've drawn it in state and everything else is put together. Now you can just check it out. Does it work? Is it going to interfere anywhere? Let's do a stress analysis on it. So when you do the mechanical scenario creation, that can be converted right into a Simulia app, which will then simulate it. And again, that's as intuitive as the rest of it. We all know about prints. Much as we all like to get away from them, we still have to make them. Manufacturing aids are a necessity of manufacturing. And so that kind of does it for that video. But, you know, I don't know how much more there is. We could go on all day about how intuitive the workbenches are, or the rolls are now, and how quickly you can flow from one thing to another. And it makes designing fun. Not that it was never fun, it's always been fun, but it makes it more fun. So do you have anything to add to that, Danny?
No, I think that captures it very well. What we've seen here is really a lot of the value of the integration that can be brought together to accentuate the workflow in SolidWorks. And what we're doing is giving users a lot of tools in one place so they can bring additional value to their workflow. You don't have to go out and search for 10 different solutions anymore and try to put together an entire workflow for your business. You can just bring the value of the platform to your work, continue as you were working in the past with SolidWorks, and now we have all of the additional tools. It's an entire ecosystem to complete your entire product design process. And I think that along those lines, it's not just a collection of tools, it's a collection of very modern tools. We're also paying a lot of attention to the productivity for the user as well. So that's all I have to add, Glenn. Thank you.
And that I think that's exactly right. It just shows us how much quicker we can work by just working in one direction, and you don't have to go away from your design tools to do it. So at that, I'm gonna open it up for any kind of questions that might be asked.
Sure. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead,
I was
Susan.
just going to say, Michelle, I forgot to do the poll at one point, so maybe while they're thinking up questions, please go ahead and put any questions that you have into the chat box. But is there still time to run the poll right now?
Sure,
Yeah,
I'll launch it right now.
Okay, so you guys, I wanted to know what else you wanted to learn about from the CATIA suite. So there's things we could talk about like large model management, composites, electrical and wire harness, complex kinematics, knowledgeware and design automation. If you would, please go ahead and fill out the poll quickly and let's see what we get for where the interest lies.
And if I could just add, if you have something to suggest that's not a polled selection, please go ahead and put it in chat.
Oh, yes, absolutely. These are what we were thinking, but if you've got other ideas, please do. Please let us know.
I'll just leave it up for, yeah.
Let me know when you think you've got a consensus out there.
So I'll be closing the poll in 3 seconds. Susan, it looks like a tie between composites and relational design, templates, automation, knowledgeware. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So any questions from the attendees?
We do have a couple of questions. There's one here. You were talking about NURB surface. What is a NURB surface?
So I'll be happy to take that question. NURBS is an acronym. It stands for Non-Uniform Rational B-Spline, and that's a lot of industry jargon. But basically, it's a mathematical form that has long been recognized in the industry as the most efficient way for a CAD system to model advanced shapes. So if you think of someone who's designing square machines and things like that, you can use a lot of modelers very easily to design very square or simple shapes. But when we look at automobiles and consumer products and things that have very swoopy shapes like airplanes, those surfaces are very difficult to author in a lot of the traditional systems. And that's why CATIA Advanced Surfacing relies on NURBS surfaces. The mathematical data structure is not only highly efficient in describing advanced surfaces, but it is also far higher quality and is much easier to achieve good data, good continuity between those surfaces. So it's basically an industry recognized optimal solution for advanced surfacing, the math data model.
Great, thank you. Looks like we have another question here. It is, what workbench is used in kinematics? Who wants to handle that one?
Okay, I'll take that one. And so we've actually gone to a role-based system other than a workbench system. So workbench it's kind of changed a little bit now, like I showed in the video. And the kinematics is actually done in the regular mechanical engineering workbench or role. which we would call it. So it's a mechanical engineering role, and each role has, many applications in it. And those apps are things like, it's called mechanical scenario creation is what it's called. So that helps.
Thank you. Another question we have is, how is this advanced surfacing module different from others in the marketplace?
So I'll be happy to answer that. Kind of going back to what I was talking about before, is this advanced surfacing module is the only product on the market that combines two very important factors for highly productive and high quality surface. The highly productive side comes from the fact that CATIA advanced surfacing is parametric, and the high quality aspect comes from the fact that it is leveraging NURBS surface math. There are no other products on the market that can generate NURBS surface that are also parametric. So there are competing products where you can generate NURBS surface, but you can't save the history of your build. You can't capture your corporate knowledge. You can't update your model if the inputs have changed. You simply have to delete your work and start over again. That's because it doesn't have history. And similarly, there are other solutions that offer parametrics so that you can create history just as you can in CATIA, but they don't have the ability to allow you to author that with NURBS surface. And so you'll find that your threshold of quality is far lower, and you're much more limited by the functions available to you to create advanced, curvy shapes. And so the really big differentiator of what you get with CATIA advanced surfacing on the platform is that you can create very high quality surfaces, very swoopy shapes very easily with good productivity. You can also capture your history and your corporate knowledge. So you can do that in such a way that if your inputs change later, like we saw in the video, where maybe the designer has designed an entire front end of the car and then they say, well, we want to change the fog lamp, you can merely do a replacement on the core shape that determines that and update your model. So that's the core differentiator, is the combination of two very important factors. You really need both to consider yourself at the forefront of competitiveness today, and that's what CATIA offers.
Okay, are there any more questions, Michelle?
Yes, there's another question. How does the CATIA V5 differ from 3D Experience? And there's more. At our company, we only have generative shape design.
So I'll be happy to take that question as well. So as far as the data models go, CATIA V5 and 3D Experience are developed and maintained in parity with each other. So we do still maintain CATIA V5. However, where you see a big difference is on the 3D Experience platform. There are capabilities and advancements that are possible that are just not possible on the older code base of CATIA V5. So while our customers can use both or use one or the other and rely on being able to transfer their models back and forth very easily, there are capabilities available on the 3D Experience platform and in 3D Experience CATIA that are just not possible in the older code base. So some of those are the ability to sketch in 3D, virtual reality, and some of the capabilities that you saw Glenn talk about in the sheet metal modeler, the intuitiveness of the interface, the new capabilities where instead of having to interact with function command windows all the time, only in 3D Experience do you get that extremely modern interface that's predictive. If you pick an edge of a part, CATIA is going to propose, hey, do you want to extend a flange off of this? Or you picked a corner, do you want to create a fillet on that corner? Those advancements are only available on the platform, and they do differentiate from the older product version CATIA V5.
Great, thank you very much.
One more thing to add to that. This is the one big giant benefit to a lot of companies that is unseen, is that in CATIA V5, you have to be in the version that you're working in. So in other words, if you get a version and your customer's using 2018, they're stuck on 2018. So with the 3D experience, the way CATIA works is you can work on something in CATIA on the 3D experience and save it back to any version of CATIA that you want. So, and that's kind of an important note because it's only a one-way thing. Can't go from V5 up, but you can always go the other way. So if you have to supply files that are 2018, you can be on the latest version of the 3D experience and still supply 2018 files.
Yeah, and I'll add one other thing. You know, since we're talking about 3D experience, I don't want to take us down a rabbit hole, but there's really so much we could talk about. You know, there's another huge value if you talk about the platform, and that's collaboration. And that's really the core value of the platform. When you move from CATIA V5, which is a file-based solution, to the platform, now we're talking about a collaborative platform. And this brings all of the users who are working on a product together around the one version of the truth. So the platform is collaborative. You no longer worry about, are you working with stale data? Who did you get this from? Where do I find the latest, you know, part for, you know, this area? That all goes away. And now everybody is connected through the platform. There's only one version of the part that you're working on, and so all of the externalities that we don't consider that are roadblocks for us in a daily work environment, they go away. So the collaborativeness of the platform is really huge and cannot be underestimated.
We have a follow-up question. Does that mean the end of CATIA V5 down the road? And Dassault Systems will promote the 3D experience, and how long down the road?
So I'll take that. Absolutely not is the answer. Dassault Systems values highly all of our product lineup, and we know that every customer situation is different. So the current plan has always been, and I expect it will continue to be, that CATIA V5 will continue to be developed. However, you will see the majority of new features will be coming out for the platform version first, and sometimes only for that version. But that's really a limitation of the fact that the product is a far newer platform, and there are some capabilities that just cannot be retrofitted onto older products. But Dassault will continue to maintain V5 for customers that you know, either can't move or decide not to move, and it will continue to maintain it.
So that looks like those are all the questions, Susan, if you wanted to take over.
Awesome. Next slide, please. And now for the lucky winner of the $50 gift card. So Michelle, I'm going to let you reach in and pick a winner for today. And then I'm going to ask that the winner reach out to me and give me their address information so we can get you this gift card.
It looks like Nehal Aryan.
Nahal, are you out there? Oh, everybody's on mute. Awesome. Okay, so Nahal, please reach out to me and give me your address that you'd like this card mailed to, and we will get that done. What I wanted to say now is that I'm just kind of giving you some ideas of what's coming for the next class. The next class is going to be August 25th at 9 o'clock again. So you have plenty of time to study up, but the topics will be generative functional tolerancing, and one of my very favorites, reverse engineering. If anybody has any additional questions or has additional topics or needs to get deeper in any of these topics, flash back a couple of slides, Glenn, to our email addresses. Please go ahead and send me an email with any of your thoughts, questions, additional concerns, additional information that you might need to myself, Susan Crowden, S. Crowden at Viascorp, or to Glenn Larson, G. Larson at Viascorp. And that's it for me. That's it for class number 1. Thank you so very much. Goodbye.